Government officials insist that this...
That BNC Live has been following from the beginning. A father continues his mission to find out what happened to his son.
Daniel Robinson vanished in the Buckeye Desert.
Daniel Robinson went missing in the Buckeye Desert.
Urgent plea from a father who has scoured the vast Arizona desert himself.
4-year-old Daniel Robinson. And this is a very, very odd mystery.
Daniel Robinson disappeared on June 23rd in the far West Valley.
His parents, David and Melissa, need our help.
I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson.
His name, Daniel Robinson. And leading the search, not law enforcement, but Daniel's father, David.
God knows how much we can bear, you know, and at times I feel like I can't really take but so much more.
Where is Daniel Robinson?
And identify they were human leg bones.
But you know what, it's still urgent to me as a father because, we found human remains out here.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. I also want to thank the volunteers that come out here every weekend, volunteering their time. And, without these special people behind me, I wouldn't have a search.
How does a young man vanish off the face of the earth? How does that happen? No record, no sightings, nothing. He's just gone. And when I say a young man, I'm talking about 25-year-old Daniel Robinson. He is the apple of his parents' eye. A young geologist, music lover, good-looking, great grades, the works. So why can't we find Daniel? I mean, see, Grace, this is Crime Stories. And his dad, David Robinson, is using the GoFundMe money to fund his own investigation and the desperate search for his boy, his son, Daniel Robinson, 25 years old. What happened to him? How did he just disappear? David Robinson, sir, thank you so much for being with us. Tell me when you first realized your son just hadn't called in a couple of days, that he was truly missing.
Yes, my son, on the 23rd, I did get a call from my daughter. She also lives out in Phoenix. And at times I feel like I can't really take but so much more.
But in his weakest times, David says it's the volunteers that provide him strength.
Everybody know that I call them my extended family. And so this video is the same thing. We all here have one common goal, and that's to find Daniel and also to bring light what happened to other families.
As the Robinsons' extended family light candles tonight, their collective light shines towards that day when their question is answered and Daniel comes home. Josh Sanders, 12 News.
You are my shelter from the storm. You keep me safe inside your wings. You are my comfort when life gets hard. You lead me to water to drink. And now walking with me at the same pace.
When the lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversation fade, I will be here. When there's no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son, to protect his family.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son.
And I'm going to still fight for him. Thank you guys for coming in this morning. This Q&A. My name is David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. I've been here since June 26th searching for him. He went missing out in the Sonoran Desert of Buckeye, Arizona. Before he made it to Arizona, he was a graduate. He's a graduate of the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. He came out to Arizona to start his career. He landed his first job with a company called Matrix Southwest Groundwater. It's also called Matrix New World. He got hired on as a field geologist and also called a hydrogeologist, where he go out to various well sites all over Arizona. His job is to check the viability of wells. That's what his company does. It's an engineering company, and he also they check the water itself, the rock sediments, to see all kind of sediments that's in the water. It's drinkable water, so they have to check all those things. Again, my son on June the 23rd went out to 2 well sites. Well, was scheduled to go out to 2 well sites, and he made it to the first well site, I was told, and he did some logs, checking some logs and things like that. But he was scheduled also to go to a second well site, where, according to a worker that was there, he made it around 9 o'clock. Of course, we have some questions about that based on what we have found in an investigation now. Things don't match the timeline, but nevertheless, the first story I was told, myself and my family, is that my son was going to the second well site. He made it there, according to the Buckeye Police Department, and also according to the worker that was the only person that saw my son last. He made it to the well site roughly around 9 o'clock. He met with this one worker from a company called Weber. That worker said that my son, he had a conversation for about 10 minutes or so, and about the weather. My son pretty much waved off to him around 9:15 and got his vehicle where he was never seen again. As you guys know, right here behind me is a picture that was taken from the Buckeye Police Department, from their set of pictures that they have taken themselves. And that is showing you guys that the vehicle that was found almost 30 days later, that's my son's vehicle, was found almost 30 days later, about 3 miles away, almost 3 miles away from that well site, farther into that Sonoran Desert in a 20-foot ravine. It was lying on the side, as you can see. Like I said, it was been almost 30 days after my son went missing. There was a couple searches there in that area before my son went, when my son went missing, and the vehicle wasn't there, as well as the person who found it was a rancher, and that rancher said 2 to 3 days prior to that, when he was in that area as well, the vehicle wasn't there until he ultimately found it. So the vehicle's been missing for almost 30 days, and but then it showed up there in that ravine. What appears to be my son's clothing is outside that vehicle, about 3 feet away from the vehicle. A safety vest that my son allegedly is his as well. His boots that was on the ground, as well as his wallet and stuff, was found in the pants pocket. The other part is the cell phone that my family and I were calling for over almost a day, a little longer than a day, that kept ringing and ringing, and finally went to the voicemail, was found inside the vehicle. Also, his work computer and some other personal effects was in the vehicle. And to this day, like I said, my son has been missing. So I have been here since June 26th searching for him. I conducted over 40-some weeks of searches, as well as over 35,000 acres of land out there in the desert, with the aid of volunteers from all over Arizona, as well as California. Some people farther than that came out to the searches to help me find my son. My searches has also been fruitful because they found other human remains of other people out there in that desert, and we brought some closures to other families that may have missing loved ones they're looking for. And so that's a sense of happiness in certain areas, but I can tell you guys that that's also a sad occasion, because those remains that we did find only give that family a sense of closure, meaning that they know their family is out there in the desert, because the desert is a very rough place for anybody to go missing, and let alone to perish out there, because the desert is really harsh on the person's body, and those families only be able to get what they can. So one of the things that was really pressing on my mind is to keep those searches going, is because just that is very pressing out there. The desert is very harsh. God forbid that Daniel was out there. So I had to keep that going, as well as the flyer distributions. You guys know I started off with a city search. Of course, the most logical thing to do is to go out into various institutions like the hospitals, the mental health wards, as well as the homeless shelters, to try to look at everything you can. I mean, every angle. Nothing to me was closed off where I didn't go on and go check. I had to have an open mind that maybe Daniel made it out the desert. maybe he's there in the desert. So I had to go in different angles, had to follow leads and things like that. So in the meantime, traveling as well to chase down leads. There was a lot of leads out there. People say, hey, I think I seen your son, and things like that. So we had to go do a lot of traveling as well. Like I said, it started off, then I started the flyer distribution and to make sure I try to get the flyers out to every homeless shelters that is out there. Then I started expanding it to the state of Arizona, and now those flyers are going all across this country. So very, very hard work. Make sure things happen that way, as well as the billboards that was going from the east side of Phoenix as well to the west side. Just try to keep that communication going. Doing a lot of interviews that I can. Try to put awareness out there. Going to different events that I'm still currently doing. To bring awareness to my son's case. So it's a lot of moving parts there, and also trying to fight against the police department's lack of help. You guys know how what I have. Like I said, I have everything that was done out there in the desert in terms of searching for my son was done by myself. There was no help from law enforcement, of course, the Buckeye Police Department, to be specific, and there was no help out there. They didn't spend any dimes out there where you guys could see cadaver dolls to helicopters and things like that. None of that was done in my searches out there. It's just you guys, volunteers, people who's out there to really, really show their love and their time and putting their efforts in. It was the volunteers that was out there with me, utilizing their gas money and their time to be out there. So, and also you guys helping me with the GoFundMe that was providing things like a charter flight, a helicopter flight, or an airplane that may fly over to try to help us do a search. Some of the equipments and things like that was utilized out there to do the search, as well as keep the volunteers safe, like the command center and things like that. So really thankful you guys for everything you have done, as well as being here on this Q&A. This Q&A is also special because you guys, one thing I want to say, throw out real quick before I go there, is the tip line. The tip line is for those, you see it scroll on the bottom of the screen, for those who may have known something, hear something, say something. That number is for you. That's the reason why I have those flyers going out. That's the reason why I'm doing all the efforts that I can to make sure that I've reached that person or persons that know something. At the beginning, I get all kind of tips and things like that. People saying they did this to my son. I had to go through a lot of that. But those things are, if they are so, I'm still here. I've been fighting for over a year, and I'm still here, still fighting for Daniel. And want to make sure that everybody know that tip line is there, is on the flyers. You can stay anonymous. It's operated 24 hours, 7 days a week. Take your call. And if you don't want to talk to anybody, still can text the word tip to that number, and you can remain anonymous. Give that tip. Also want to get to today, it's very special. See on the bottom of the screen. As you know, it's going on another month, year and another month that my son has been missing. And, it's always a difficult time for me and my family, and also for a lot of you, because a lot of people have a lot of interest in Daniel's case, and they can see it going longer and longer and longer. And we still haven't brought Daniel home. But you know what? One of the things I am not willing to do and not ready to do is give up. So fasting and prayer. Fasting and prayer, I believe in it. Sometimes people don't see the value in fasting and prayer, but I do. The value in prayer, fasting and prayer, to me, is the prayer part is to bring the unity, especially when we're doing it together. It's to make intercessions for others, as well as putting your plea into God and tell them, hey, what we need and what we're looking for. And so if you believe in that higher power, you believe in God, this is a channel that we talk to God. So it helps me. It helps me personally through the fasting. The fasting to help you build your strength, and also, saying keep your spirit strong. So it's really catered to the person to build your faith and things like that. So that's what fasting and prayer is for. Because without faith, you can't even please God, for one thing. The second part is works without faith is dead. So that's why you see me guys going out and doing everything I can to try to fight for my son. But I have my faith that I'm going to bring him home, and I need your prayers. I need your support. I need your love. To join in with me. That's the reason why I have this fast and prayer today. You guys can see the hashtag on the bottom of the screen. If you can, put that on your social media. Hashtag fast and prayer for Daniel. I would like to see that to get the algorithms going as well. You guys, right now, if you also can please hit that like, share, subscribe to this channel. Definitely want you to keep this channel growing, because we definitely want to help other families as well as get Daniel's story out there a lot farther. and keep it going. This is not something that had to end. Some people look at it over a year, say you still looking for your son. There's no time limit for a person to stop looking for their loved one. It's up to them whenever they're ready. But one thing is, my son is missing, and it's been over a year. I know, but I'm still going to keep fighting. I'm still going to have those answers going to come to me. It could be today that I find Daniel, and I gave up yesterday. So I'm just going to keep on fighting for that. But I will be starting this Q&A, especially the fast and prayer for Daniel. I will be starting that with a prayer, as I do every Wednesday. That's close to the 23rd. The 23rd. Today is the 21st, but the 23rd will mark another month that Daniel has been missing. And, definitely want to, like I say, start off this fast and prayer with a prayer. And the prayer is for Daniel, of course, for me to be able to have all the right places to go and continue my efforts to search for my son, continue to go in the right directions to get things done, as well as coming to those answers that I need to find out what happened to my son. But I still don't want to leave out that the prayers also is for other families that's out there that have missing loved ones. As you guys know, I talked to you last week about some families that I had a feature here on this Q&A. Like the Risto family, as well as him and his son is missing. And you guys, I don't want you guys to forget about that and those families. And those families need your help. If you have any information as well, I'm going to put that on the bottom of the screen for you guys. If you have any information for Mr. Risto, that you guys seen last week, the number is you still can call the Salt River Police Department. The number is there on the bottom of the screen. I just want to make sure you guys know that this is a fast and prayer for not just Daniel, because this thing is bigger than myself and my family, and we want to make sure that we're including other people as well. So also Alicia Navarro also is missing. And if you guys if you find out, know what happened to this young girl, you definitely call the Glendale Police Department. The number's down there on the bottom of the screen, or you can also call the Anti-Predator Project. There's numbers on the bottom of the screen. So we want to make sure you don't forget about those families. I will be talking about them again this evening. I will be putting up their information again this evening. And if anybody else have any missing family loved one that definitely want to be seen here on this Q&A, please hit me up, or please help find Daniel at yahoo.com. And I would like to have you on if you want to talk about the story, or I can get the information from you and I will share it here. Also, don't forget about Mr. Graham's. His son, Angelo Graham, has been missing for a while, just as much longer as Daniel's been missing. So you guys, you can call 911 if you're in the James County Police Department as well. You guys, you call get it. You can try to do everything you can to try to bring this child. He's a child as well. Bring this child back home to his father, and his father's serving his country at the same time, trying to fight for his son. And you guys can help out as well. Just don't leave these people behind. So definitely want to make sure you guys have that information. Again, you want to contact me directly, get information as well as request flyers to anything. You can contact me there. The number below 803-200-7994, or the email address. Please help find Daniel at yahoo.com. That is the information that's there available for you to get in contact with me. Again, I will be praying right now. I'm going to the comment section. This is going to be one thing. I'm going to the comment section, and I want to answer some of your questions, especially those who haven't heard about Daniel's cases yet, and want to have questions and want to have those questions answered. I can answer them the best way I can. The answers I do know, I will definitely give that to you. Those that I cannot share with you because I still have an investigation going on. Those things I will make you aware of as well. But if you do have a question, please put the question marks there before your question. Also, you can put a capital letter Q or the word question itself before your question. That helps me as I'm coming down the comment section to see it. But I definitely want to start the praying. I want to start the prayer, fast and prayer for Daniel. And if you guys can join in with me with this prayer, those who have faith in prayer, who see the need of prayer. Rather, I don't know what everybody's faith is, but I tell you what, prayer is prayer. Fasting is fasting. And if you guys want to join in with me to show your unity, we're going to pray together. We're going to pray that God give me direction and things like that. Keep me here, keep me in the ability to fight for my son, as well as we're going to be praying for those families that have missing loved ones, and they need those answers as well. So you guys can join in with me. I appreciate it. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for another day. We thank you, Lord, for life, health, and strength. We thank you for this moment. We thank you for this moment to be able to come together as a people, to come before your presence, the petition, Lord, to ask you, Lord, to stand in the gap for intercession for others, to ask for you, Lord, to give us directions. We ask you, Heavenly Father, right now to bless me right now, bless this family, my family, get us the answers that we're looking for to bring my son Daniel Robinson home. Heavenly Father, we know that you have all the power, you know everything, you know where Daniel is. We ask you, Lord, to open our eyes to help me go locate him, put me in the right direction. Also, have law enforcement to do their job, to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do to try to bring Daniel home. So, Heavenly Father, I'm coming to you right now, asking you again for directions. Put me in the right directions and right places at the right time to bring my son home. And I thank you, Heavenly Father, also for giving me the ability to be able to help others as we're doing so. As I'm going out here fighting, doing everything I can, and you put me in those places, make sure that I'm able to also help other families. There's other families out there right now that have loved ones as well. They are hurting just as much as we are. We ask you, Lord, to guide them as well. Help law enforcement to find those missing loved ones, help those loved ones to find their loved ones, bring their loved ones back home. We ask you, Heavenly Father, right now, that we have the faith. We're coming to you together in unity. We come together, Lord. And we ask you, Heavenly Father, right now to please bless all those also who are with me right now, praying along with me, because you know those people have a big heart. They are here. They believe in you as well. They believe in prayer. They believe in fasting. And we thank you, Heavenly Father, for bringing them to bringing them to me, bringing them to support me, bringing support everything I'm doing. They're showing me that there are people that are out there with those kind of hearts that are willing to help and do everything they can to lend a hand. So I'm really grateful for them as well. You know their needs, you know their desires. We ask you, Heavenly Father, to bless them as well. There's some things in their life that they're asking for, they're looking for. We ask you to open the windows of heaven, pour out them blessings upon them as well. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for this opportunity on this Q&A to be able to share other loved ones' stories, share Daniel's story, to answer questions. We ask you, Heavenly Father, right now to bless the channel, to be able to do more, give us more skills and things that we need to bring more light to other cases as well as Daniel, so we can bring these families home. Thank you, Heavenly Father. In Jesus' name, pray, amen. Thank you guys for that chance to stay with me and do the prayer. I really appreciate that. You guys who have been praying with me and my family, those who are joining in right now with the fast and prayer for the missing loved ones as well as Daniel. Like I said again, I really believe in prayer. I really believe that those are the keys and things to get the answer that you need. But again, I'm getting go to this Q&A session of everything. And guys, if you have any questions, please, by all means, do not hesitate to answer those questions. I want to say something real quick. I'll smile every time I see this young lady. Thank you, Latoria, for being here this morning. You make me smile. Tell your father I say hello. Tell your family I love them. And hope to see you guys when I get back to South Carolina again. So take care. Thank you so much. But you guys, thank you all for coming in this Q&A, as well as showing your support, being here for me and my family, being here for the other families who have missing loved ones. I want to go down to the comment section and try to say good morning to as much people as I can. Those who I missed, good morning. I love you, and I thank you so much for being here as well. Thank you for the moderators that's in the chats as well. Sophia, also So Fresh Smells, Sophia. Thank you so much for moderating as well as being a board member and the team. So thank you for putting that up. Hashtag fast and prayer for Dan. You guys can put that on your social media. We definitely will help us to get Daniel's story out there, get those algorithms going as well. So I really appreciate it. Thanks, Sophia, for putting information. Thanks for working in that chats. And, for people, you guys follow the moderators. The moderators have a lot of things, the information there in the chats for you guys. And we ask you to look at what those moderators have. Everything I may not be saying here on the Q&A, they would be there to back me up. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, you also can talk to them as well. They probably answer some of those questions I end up missing. Also, thank you, Sophia, for putting up the petition. You guys, I don't want to forget about that. If you can, please go to pleasehelpfinddane.com and sign that petition. Put your voice to that petition. I don't like to say to really sign the petition. I like to say put your voice to that petition because the petition, because that is your voice. You know, you guys are supporting everything I have done for day one. That petition has been running for a long while. It's at 120,425 voices right now, and you guys have been signing it. If you guys who have multiple email addresses, you can do it multiple times. I think you have to verify your emails on some occasions. So you guys can do it as many times as you can with those multiple email addresses. Is your voice amplified? If you go down to read those updates and things like that, if you agree with everything that I have been doing from day one, and what the purpose of the petition is, I ask you guys to please put your voice to that. So whenever those times I constantly using that, you guys can back me up. So please, by all means, visit pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and hit that petition button, and you'll be able to go there and put your voice. Also, thank you, Shiro's Nation. I really appreciate it that you come in as well. And thank you so much for being in some constant support. I really thank you for your YouTube channel and being able to put put some facts down there that I really agree with. And I really thank you for putting your stuff together. You did it very well, putting those facts in about my son's case. I'm really appreciative of that. Also, you guys, before I forget, there's some things I want to also share with you today. This morning, it's an episode that came out. I can't think of the number. I think it's called Disappeared, you guys. That's something I've been part of a little the earlier part of this year. They told me it's going to come out this fall. There's some things there that I definitely want to make sure I clear up, some facts that I want to clear up for you guys. Of course, a lot of times networks, they put a story together. They put it together the best way they can, but sometimes it's neglecting some facts. There's some areas there that I have to correct, so I have to correct for myself. Especially I have to make sure Daniel's not being thrown under the bus in a sense. So I want to make sure that you guys get the right information. So I will be talking about that also on this Q&A. So I will also want to show you some pictures and some things. There were some things that was said on that episode that is not accurate. It's not give you the right depiction of Daniel, the way he is as a person. And I want to make sure I clear those things up as well. As this afternoon, once I put some things together on the next Q&A, I may be able to share even more. But you guys, I just want to get us one thing that I want to clear up for you guys to make sure that there is no misrepresentation of Daniel. Daniel is a very intelligent young man, high-spirited young man. Only thing I can think of right now is to help you understand where I'm coming from is to tell you that he's a scientist. I only can go by, of course, we have a lot of family members out there. Daniel's mother, he have a sibling that also do an interview. And I would never throw family under the bus either. I just tell you, you guys, you got to understand that I try to find reasonings to tell you, like sometimes family does things a lot different. I just know that I'm a father and I can only speak for myself. I've been out here since June the 26th on the ground. Of course, I don't have any help from law enforcement. I would like to have family out here, but like I say, family would do a lot different. That's why you guys see me alone a lot, along with the team, as well as you guys have been volunteering. You don't see much family at all, but I'm on the ground. I have to relate messages back to the family, and sometimes those messages get mixed up, and those facts is not there. So I want to make sure that I clear up some of those things. Is what I'm saying. And I want to make sure Daniel's story is intact, the way that he is as a person, as a human being, and I just want to make sure I clear those up. So you stay in here with me. You understand what I'm talking about. One part when I will share that with you guys. All right, and I would do that first with a screen share. I just wanted to do it now so I can go back to the chat. So I really want to answer you guys' questions. So. Definitely want to get that really quickly. On that Disappeared, to make those who have not seen that episode, to make it clear, without me having the episode here to show it to you right now, I will in the future. But there were some things that was said that Daniel gave you the depiction that he was in a state of mind based on his apartment. His apartment is very, according to that episode, very dirty. He had dishes in the sink, food trays all over the place. I guess the trash can was hanging off of some door or something. It's real disgusting, real disgusting. It hurt my feelings when I saw the episode. It really hurt my feelings on that one part. Excuse me, because that is far from what happened on the ground. As you guys know, like I said again, my investigator and I was the first ones to access Daniel's apartment. We have the initial pictures and things like that. The picture that was depicted on the show it wasn't Daniel's apartment. I don't even know where to get the pictures from. But just want to say it wasn't a depiction of what really Daniel's apartment would look like. Of course, he's a guy. He's not a woman who have some flower drapes or something and really take particular into the type of furniture he may have gotten. He's a young man, bachelor, and so the type deal is what I'm saying is a person would look at that episode and think that Daniel was going through some mental crisis based on his family statements, as well as the pictures that was presented on the episode. So you guys go and watch it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Those who have watched it already, you know what I'm talking about right now. So I'm going to show that the actual footage and the actual pictures that was there from my son's apartment. And these are the pictures that came from two sources. They came from Buckeye Police Department when they finally walked in the apartment with the landlords who let them go in and do a walk-in, because I was supposed to be there as present as well with the Buckeye Police, but they refused to let me in. But they said they would let law enforcement in just to walk without touching anything. So they took some pictures as well as a combination. There's only a few pictures. I can't show you all the pictures because there's an investigation still going, but I can show you the pictures that will show you that's opposite of what was said on that disappeared show. And also there's pictures also from my investigator as well. Once like I said, we got SS2, he had to do his job. You'll see his tools and things that he used to do his investigation and stuff. The crime scene, or what you want to call it, you see the crime scene tape in his bag. But that's the pictures. Also, some of those are missing pictures of his as well, what he saw when he come in. And I'm telling you that this, and I'm gonna explain it as I'm going, as you guys, I'm gonna explain it to you so you can understand where I come from, and you can say to yourself, make a judgment: is this like a person who's going through a crisis, or is a person that was actually doing the opposite of cleaning up? Because before I go farther too, I'm gonna tell you from our assessment, from my investigator's assessment, as well as the Buckeye Police Department, their first initial thing that was said to me, the Buckeye Police Department, when they went in, say, "Oh yeah, he was a little messy." When he said his room, it was everything else was okay, but his room was a little messy. And as well as my investigator, he had the same thing, but he did a deep dive. I'm going to talk about that part that I really didn't want to put out here yet. But this little part is that we have suspicions that someone came in after the fact. Dan was in the process of cleaning his room. Someone came in. Probably still working that out to find out if there's something that's there. When I say we, it's myself, my investigator. That investigator had long quit, so he's no longer working for me. But what I'm saying is there's some of the things that still had to be seen to make sure that nothing happened in that apartment. So from everything, all the evidence that he collected as well would suggest that maybe someone was there looking for something, and we're trying to figure out who may have had a key or something to be able to access Daniel's apartment at the time when he was missing, because the pictures are two different pictures almost from what we got from that point. So, and of course, I'll explain to you as I'm going through, because there had to be some details. And I've shown you guys this because, like I said, that one part of the episode, it really hurts my feelings. It really hurt me because I know that Daniel, though he may not be like I say, he have some nice drapes or something, things like that. He was definitely far from having any kind of indications that he was going through some mental crisis or somehow with the filth that I've seen on that episode. So here we go. I'm going to share a screen with you guys so you guys can understand with this. The first picture you would see is a picture of his little television with some little stuff on the bottom, but I'm going to go past that point and bring on some other areas there for you to look at. All right, here I go. I don't know if you guys have that yet or not. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and move this up here. I don't know if I can get that up there or not. Let's see. I have a little difficulties, you guys, but just hang in there with me, okay? All right, now I'm going to go ahead and take myself off the screen. I think I have some little slowness here, so I think it's a little drag, but I'm going to take myself off the screen because I want to say this so you guys can see it really clearly. Shiro Nation, I'm going to take you off. Well, I'll keep you there for a while, but I want to take you off for a second. Let's see here. There we go. All right. That's the first picture. That's a little television that he got in his living room, right? You guys, I don't know if you can follow me. I'm really trying to get this going. I think my screen is really sharing. It's really slow and moving kind of slow. So I went to the next screen and I'm not really getting the movement. So, all right. But anyway, this is the living room. This is Daniel's living room, you guys. And his living room is fairly clean. You see some little things thrown. His little blanket, I guess he used to, he get cold watching television or whatever. You see some things on this table, but nothing don't look thrown out of place. Matter of fact, it looked like it was put, pretty much neatly. This obviously how it stated his apartment when he left that morning to go to work and to never be seen again. As you can see down here on the bottom of the screen here, this little area, you're going to see my little arrow. That's Jeff McGrath. That's his equipment that he would be using. When I was there, he told me, hey, I gave him access to the apartment. And he said he was going to, go ahead and do his thing, get his some DNA samples, whatever the case may do. He had to go take care of some things from an investigative standpoint, right? If you guys look over here, this is a shelf that he has, just some paper, some books. Up here is one of the things that was significant to me, and that's up here is his rock collection. He have a rock collection that he really liked. I was looking at it, I didn't really understand it. That's what I was telling you guys. Hey, look, he had this rock collection, and with that rock collection, it was different for me. I found out the information that geologists all have rock collections. They love to collect rocks. They know what they come from and things like that. As you look further to the right here, I don't know if you see this arrow going up down. That's the canopy that he left over to Caitlin's house. This is a canopy. This is what he uses whenever he's out there in the desert to keep the sun off of him. So that's leaning against the wall there. That's the same canopy that you guys hear the story about in the report that says that that he went to retrieve his canopy. Now, why that canopy was in the backyard with this young lady, so you guys got to answer a lot of questions. Who would be able to bring a canopy to your house? They have to know each other well. If the story wouldn't be that they just met as he was doing the Instacart, and they just met and that was changed numbers somehow, and that was just it. No, it wasn't it between those two. There's a lot of conversations and things like that. So to be able to be there that night, same night he first met her, and bring a canopy in there and for whatever reason in her backyard is what he told me personally. You name it. This is right here is, of course, see the little tools he got there for doing a little pull-ups and things like that for exercising and stuff like that. So the next picture I got here is also another view of the living room. You see there's no trash on the floor. Everything looked really clean. You tell he vacuumed, swept. Things like that. This right here, if you guys look to the left, is 3 cases of water. My daughter bought him 5 cases of water because he utilized a lot of water out in the desert. He works in the desert, so he definitely always makes sure they have a lot of water, right? The 2 cases that goes with that 5 cases is in the vehicle, untouched. So he did put those 2 cases in the vehicle that morning, obviously, when he was on the way out to work, and those cases still to this day is in that vehicle. All right. And this is his trash can. Against all beliefs of what y'all guys seen on that show Disappeared. They'd have some trash bag hanging off his door and his food, and it was really disgusting. Daniel would not do that. You see the trash can, it's right there. Nothing. When I opened that trash, wasn't no bunch of food, old food or anything like that. It was trash, papers, this little stuff, whatever. Very clean, very put in there nicely. Nothing going on. So that's another deal. All right. The other part is his dishes. On that episode, they said that Daniel had all kind of dishes. As you guys look here, right here to your right, he had clean dishes. He had just washed dishes. I think when I looked in the sink, he had this one little purple little cup and 1 plate that they have no food on it. Just one, you guys. We have a picture that I was sitting here when I remember it. This is a picture that he put the water in there, and it's a filtration system so he can have clean water that way as well. If you look at to the left here, just his stove. There's nothing on the stove. He's got his paper towel rack. Things are very clean. The floor is clean. So you guys, when I saw that episode and I saw that, it's very offensive to me to even suggest, and his mother and his brother, I get it. They really don't know what's going on the ground. They came here only once. I flew them out here for a family press conference. That's during the time, right after, matter of fact, they came in right after my investigator. We took these pictures, where he took those pictures. The Buckeye Police Department took some pictures, and as well as he was just finishing his assessment of Dane's apartment. And at that time, I was making a choice. It was right at the right time. At the family press conference, and I told the family, hey, they can grab anything they want. So they grabbed whatever they want from Dane's apartment, and they took back to South Carolina. And so they have never been here since to see Daniel's apartment. They've never been here to see these pictures and things like that. So this is not Daniel's. This is exactly how Daniel's kitchen was, you guys. The only part of going to is some parts here that's going to be a little different. Of course, I'm going past his fridge. You know, of course, he have food. And this, like I said, this is the rock collection, you guys, that was there. The rock collection that I noticed. I wonder why he had rocks on his little shelf, and you know, that type deal. But I understood that. His computer room, you guys, this is a computer that really need to be checked as well. This is something that Daniel built himself. He went to build his computer. He was talking to me about it. He built it himself. I'm a computer major, so of course he's definitely asking me questions, how much RAM to put in, things like that. Very proud. He had just completed that computer. He wanted his own, be able to multitask. He liked to do a lot of gaming. That's why you see the joysticks there. He does a lot of gaming. So he wanted to be able to do that and have a powerful computer to be able to do both at the same time, his work as well as play his game. So Daniel did have that computer he just built himself. Very proud of it. If you guys can see, when it turned on, it had these lights in it and all kind of stuff. He did it himself. He finished and completed almost 2 days after. 2 days before he went missing. So you guys, he's already in that mode of definitely doing something in life. He already, like I told you guys, he and I had that conversation about this computer 2 days before he went missing. And also the information he gave me about him and his sister supposedly had went hiking that weekend after, you know, that weekend after he went missing. So he should have been hiking with his sister as well. He had plans for the future, things he wanted to do. Now we're going to keep going on, you guys. Of course, there's some more pictures. This is one of the issues that I don't know where his mother came. You see his bathroom, his shower area, very clean. Now he has some things thrown on here, but I can tell you, I can explain that to you on the next photo because it comes from the other direction. Coming from the other direction, looking into his, going into the hallway of his room. Of course, he had all of this mess, and I get it. When I went in there and I saw the first thing I'm thinking as a parent, like, man, he need to clean his room up. This is crazy. This is a mess, right? But then when I talked to my investigator, he saw it a lot different. He started explaining some things to me. If you guys can really pay attention here, there's a broom here. Dan was in the process of cleaning his room up. He has also had the vacuum cleaner that was plugged up. The cord goes here, but it goes plugged up and farther off into the corner here of this area right here. The investigator felt that Daniel was actually cleaning his room up because what happened is he had some stuff sucked up in the vacuum cleaner. We know that he was actually using the vacuum cleaner. So what it appears is Daniel was started cleaning up his room that day or that morning or whatever time it was before he actually went to work. He started throwing some things in the basket, but then there's two parts that the investigator looking at because of the way the vacuum cleaner being plugged, the broom being there. But then if you can look real here, you can't see from this angle, but there's some more pictures I can't show you because of some other things there. But there's some things that was laid on top of his the front end of that vacuum cleaner. Nobody would not be having, that's what that means. The vacuum cleaner got there first. Nobody gonna put a vacuum cleaner in the middle of the floor and then throw some things on top of it. So that happened after he was cleaning up, started vacuuming the floor. So that gave the investigators some pause to say they believe somebody was in there after the fact as well. Because this right here has been damaged, some little cubby hole type deal that he has in his room. That was damaged, pushed to the side, as well as one of the cabinets that you would see here was pushed to the side. Things were thrown all over the floor. So we're trying to figure this was damaged, pushed that way. This drawer is open. Some of the stuff is just thrown all over the floor on top of things. So, those are the type of things that we're definitely looking at from an investigative standpoint. But the point is, I'm trying to make you guys is this from the angle going back the other direction. You can see like I said, the clothing there. He had the shoes there. He had the vacuum cleaner here. It plugs up right around the corner there. And this is stuff that's on the floor that's thrown all over the place. So I don't know how the correlation to his mental state versus just having it out of a dirty room, he was cleaning it up, or someone came in and trashed the place, comes into his mental state. So we don't have that kind of evidence to say anything otherwise. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I really, really was reluctant and really hurt that I had to explain that because, when I watched his mother and I watched his brother on that episode, it really hurt me to see how that was put together. And I understand you guys when I've done many interviews, and a lot of times when they do interviews, they could talk to you for 30 minutes and they're going to use about 5 minutes of your conversation. It's a pick and choose what they want to put a story together. I get that. So I try to look at it in that way as well. But I want to make sure that Daniel don't get thrown under the bus and to be viewed as he had some type of issue based on an apartment. That was not the story that was depicted on that show. Do not reflect and do not match up to what the reality is in Daniel's apartment. So I definitely had to put that out there. It's very painful, like I said, to be doing it right here on this Q&A here because, like I said, it's a fast and prayer. You guys probably can tell I've been having difficulty this morning as well. It's always a difficulty when the realities always hit when you still have a missing loved one, you have a missing son. I miss him so much. I miss him really bad, and I feel like I don't have any closures yet. Really pushing really hard to have answers. I'm coming close to the answers as well as the guys I was telling you last week. I was able to, and I worked really hard. I have my team as well to help. Working really hard, pushing law enforcement. I mean, not Buckeye, because I don't have any faith in that department. They already damaged my son's case, and I won't allow them to damage it even further. So I had to go outside of Buckeye, and I have gotten some movement with some law enforcement. Law enforcement. I'm going to say it just like this, and I know law enforcement watching me right now, and the same ones that I'm dealing with. Law enforcement is law enforcement, right? And I can hear law enforcement say, I can't do this or I can't do this. Well, why are you in law enforcement, right? Police is police. Who polices the police unless a police the police, right? The reason why I say that because it's easy for police departments to hide behind the thing of the whole way I want to put it. The whole purpose of law enforcement is to fight crime or fight injustice and things like that, right? They're the long hand of the law. And anytime you see a police department see something going wrong and don't do anything about it, that's a problem. If you see something in the department and they got an officer or two that are doing something that's not correct and you don't say nothing about it, that's a problem. Because like I said before, you guys, I don't believe that in the such thing as a good cop if that good cop don't say anything, right? So you can have a whole department and you cannot say, well, that's a couple bad apples there and they're there and you haven't done anything about it. You haven't got rid of them. You wait till something go wrong. And then the media say, hey, what about this? What's this? What's going on in your department? And they say, oh, yeah, we just got a couple bad apples. You knew you had those bad apples a long time ago. So whenever you start allowing the blue part, the police blue, because I've been learning that stuff since I was a kid. We had I think it's called the cold blue or silence or something. They keep silent about, so they look out for each other. They brothers in arms, this blue thing, right? To the fact that they would take a situation like this, a family who's hurting, and they're supposed to be serving the public, and they see something wrong and they don't do anything about it. And they can just sit there and watch it because they want to protect the blue. That's a problem. That's a problem in this country. That's a problem. That's probably some of the reasons why there's all these people missing out there. In 2022, when there's so many technologies out there, so many advancements out there, they can go, like I said, you can find us going, I'm a veteran out there in Afghanistan, and they found Osama bin Laden, killed them in somebody else's country, in Pakistan. And, but you can't find my son here American citizen here in the United States. I don't believe that. They find who they want to find for their reasons and everything else. Like I told you guys before, the blue. If this was a police vehicle sitting here behind me in that ravine, police uniform found here on the ground, 3 feet away from that vehicle, his gun and badge and all that is on the ground, they won't be saying the same thing they're saying to me and my family. They won't be saying that, well, we can't do anything because it's somebody else's case. We can't be saying certain things like that because the truth is, you guys know it, and that we've seen it so many times before. When a cop gets shot and the man is on the run, you'll find cops from all over this country coming down on that one place to look for this cop killer, right? If this was to happen right here, you guys, there would be no family begging and going to GoFundMe, asking people to donate to try to get a search going, or begging law enforcement and they getting offended with their little feelings and stuff instead of really helping and worrying about their feelings and the way they look. You wouldn't hear all that kind of stuff. You won't hear that stuff from law enforcement. You'll hear all the law enforcement come together with the FBI, whatever, ATF, everything, coming down to look for those officers whose vehicles on the side and his uniform on the ground. He'd been missing over 30 days. As a matter of fact, he probably wouldn't have been missing 30 days. Like I said, they had every dog, everything they can, and tearing the city apart, Buckeye apart, the state of Arizona apart to find out one officer or that officer's child. So the same courtesy they would give to another officer is what I want them to give to my son and my family. It's been over a year. It's been very hard. And I'm still, why do a family have to beg for help? Why do we have to be quiet? Why we have to do so many things just to beg for help from law enforcement? You know what I'm saying? That's the problem I have as a father who's been here on the ground. Like I said, you guys, begging for the Buckeye City Council, come to the city council meeting and right in front of Mayor Hess, I think her name is, telling my son's story. Hey, I'm here. Finding human remains out in your jurisdiction. And then to this day, still didn't say hello to me. But yet you got Buckeye Police Department in the background, you guys. It is so much I wish I could say. I'm really venting right now. So tell you guys, I'm really, really angry this morning. Having some issues, but I'm telling you guys, it's hard from a family standpoint when you've been doing this for over a year and you're still begging for help. So just want to tell you guys to keep on praying for me and my family, praying for me, praying for my strength, you know what I'm saying? Because it's hard. It's difficult, very hard. But when I start thinking about things like that, it gets very difficult. So I'm definitely going to just go ahead and go to the Q&A side of this thing, answer your questions, get all the questions I can, because I need to get through this today. And if you guys have any questions, definitely please ask those questions by putting the question mark there, put a capital letter Q there. I don't know, there's a few questions here. I'm going to make this Q&A kind of short. I'm having a really bad time here, and I'm making it really short. So I answer a few questions, and then I'll see you guys this evening. If you can, come on to this evening Q&A at 5:30 this evening. And I definitely will be here again to answer some more of your questions. I have some more. I'll talk about this same information I had earlier. I have some more things I wanted to say about that episode as well. For instance, his state of mind as well. I had to go into that. I'm pushing that really hard, you guys, because I have a different outtake. I'm here on the ground. I'm doing a lot of investigation on my own, and I put a lot of things together. That's information as well. There's some conversation that Daniel and I had 2 days prior, trying to really filter that out for you guys, so I don't give out too much. And at the same time, I give you so you guys can have a little idea, hear it from his own voice, some of the things that he is talking about, his aspiration, his mindset. A person who wanted to disappear on June the 23rd, when not 2 days prior, talk about how he's going to be a millionaire before he turns 30. What he's going to do that weekend, and really excited about me coming to Arizona July last year. That type deal. Said a person right there don't make plans, and then 2 days later, they do this, mastermind this, and disappear in the desert, as some want you to believe. So We definitely, I'll definitely be doing that as well. Again, I have a little difficult this morning, and I'm just really going to get through this Q&A this morning. So you guys have any questions, please answer your questions here. Thank you, DJ Moore. Does anyone know where the second well site is? Well, yes, there's 2 well sites in it. Well, a few well sites may be in there, but 2 that I know of. One is north of the well that they say Daniel went missing. Now, only problem with that is, you guys, I did this before. I may end up doing it again, show you this well site that's north of the one that was said that was Daniel was at. But if you listen to how he said, you go in from Sun Valley Parkway 1 mile west, and then you have to go 2 miles north to get to this well site. And when I did my measurements, like I told you guys, Buckeye Police Department haven't done this. I don't know anybody else who have done this. But whenever you investigate something, you listen to a person's story, and then you go and see if those stories are true. You don't go and listen to their story and you just put it in your report as facts, right? So the story to me was that my son traveled behind him. They went 1 mile west and then 2 miles north to get to this well site. But when I do my measurement, the 2 miles led me to the second well site. As you guys know, I did a video here before, and there was definitely some suspicious things that was in that second well site. There's a couple of things with that second well site versus the one that they said Daniel was at. The one they said Daniel was located last with this worker said that was at. The circumference of that well is very tight. So one of the things I was thinking that, have suspicions that somebody threw my son into that well. It's very tight. My investigators look at the shoulder length, say, yeah, it might be kind of difficult to put somebody in, but it's not impossible, but very difficult, right? The other part is looking at that well as well. Like I said, the measurement was right. But when I went to the second well site, which is north of that, that second well site has a lot of things that's problematic to me. There's a fencing that was torn there as well, as the circumference of that well is very wide. And so you guys know that I had to check both of those wells. I had difficulty getting the Buckeye Police Department to do it. They never checked. They never been to the well that Daniel went missing. I got that from the lieutenant that was happened to be there that day and alive. The second thing is the second well site. They came out there. Finally, I forced Buckeye to come out there on a weekday to put a camera down in that well because I need to search this well, make sure nobody threw my son down in that well. They brought some little makeshift camera that couldn't even be submerged underwater. They got a little uptight because the water barely touched the bottom of the camera, got the little camera wet. So they went to the water surface and then pull a camera out and say, hey, Mr. Robinson, ain't nothing there, nothing here, nothing to see, nothing, I wasn't accepting that. So I was, make a long story, I was able to get another company come in personally and go down in that well, both wells, to go down there thousands of feet, almost, I forgot what the feet distance, but it's a little over 1,000 feet down in that well, probably 2,000. I can't remember exact, but what I'm saying, when we got down that well, I may play this again on this Q&A, you guys, some of the evidence that I do have. That well is very suspicious. And the reasons why, like I said, there's a torn fence there in that area. I was always wondering where how the fence is pulled back. Usually they have the poles that holds those metal fences up. That pole is missing, right? That pole is missing. So when you go down in that well, there was several things. If you work your way from the bottom up, and I can explain it to you better. So one day I may put that back up here again. But there's some suspicious stuff that's down in the bottom, as if somebody, first of all, the first thing they did is took something real heavy and weighted something down, right? Then they dumped large amount. They put a lot of debris and things down in that well. The fence post as well was the first thing they put down in there. And also some other little things to block the way down in that well. I was told by the well company, nothing supposed to be, no structures like that ever supposed to be in those wells. They was trying to figure out why it was there. It had a hard time getting those cameras to go around it. But when we got down in there, like I said, you can see where they dumped a large amount of dirt because you see the settlement of that dirt is a pile, meaning that whatever was put down there first, they try to cover it up with tons of dirt, a lot of dirt, right? So it's an after effect type deal. So there's a lot of things, and we did see something that would appear to be a human skull sitting on the surface of the bottom of that well that we're really trying to look at really good. I try to get somebody to look at it from a professional standpoint. I always had that problem of getting that done to this date. But you know what? Those are the things that still need to be looked at as well. So That second well site definitely is questionable to me. I've mentioned it to law enforcement, of course, not Buckeye. Of course, they should know about that. They should be doing their own. I don't work for Buckeye. So you guys, I even heard Buckeye say one time I'm holding back evidence from them some kind of way in my investigation, right? My own personal investigation as a father, like I work for them or something. You guys can understand that with my searches, I even had the police help find Daniel website automatically send them copies of anything we find out there in the desert, because we take pictures, have volunteers to upload it to that website, and they automatically get a copy. So I was working trying to help law enforcement, but law enforcement wasn't helping me. You know what I'm saying? So it's the opposite way for them to be condescending to say I was holding back evidence when they're not working for me, right? It's obviously, like I told one department as well, it appears to me I'm trying to find my son. They're trying to do everything to keep me from finding my son. So good morning, Mr. John Q. I want to put you out there real quick. Thank you so much for being here this morning from John QQ. Thank you, sir, for being here. I really appreciate you coming out to support. I really appreciate you, brother. Thanks so much. You guys have any more questions, please hit those questions. Like I said, those like, share, please hit those questions. Also, thank you, Sean, for putting out those questions. Put the word question there, the question marks, or big capital letter Q, something like that. That would help as I'm coming down the comment section to see your question. All right, like Sean I have here, you guys is a good example. Thank you, Sean, for putting that there. Please, I'm coming down pretty quickly. I'm trying to grab as much people as I can. Thank you, Phil H, for being here. Is everything known on the website? Well, pretty much most information is there. I'm here for like things with details, answering questions about the case. But anything that you can help, while you can help, my support me here while I'm here, things I'm trying to do, yes, you'll find that on policehelpfinddaniel.com. All right, so that information is there. So if you guys have any more questions, please, like Esther have here, put those question marks there, followed by your question or capital letter Q or the word question, something like that. That would definitely help. Hello, Mr. Robinson. Did Daniel make contact with Ken at 8:08? AM. If so, Daniel phone timeline, that would have been the last contact with Ken. Ken has changed his story so many times. Yes, and that's one of the things. It was. I think they really didn't even really get a full, because I know Ken. He called him. He missed. Daniel missed his phone call that morning, and he left that voicemail. And then the voicemail you guys I played, Ken left that voicemail to him, tell him not to come up there because of some fuel truck or whatever he was waiting on or whatever the deal was. And then Daniel tried to call him back. So it's kind of, he tried to get in contact with him back. Then Daniel ended up getting closer, like a little after 8 or so. I don't have the timeline on me right now, so I'm going by memory. And he did end up sending Ken a text message asking him a location. Ken did not respond from that. After that text message went out, Daniel did not receive a phone call from Ken, no text message from Ken. So he asked for directions, right? Didn't get any response. Daniel then ended up calling, like I told you guys, well, he left the text message, didn't get none, and then obviously he ended up calling around 9:28 that morning. So I don't know what happened in between that time, but I just know that Ken didn't talk to him, and he didn't talk to Ken according to his phone record. So how Daniel knew how to get to that location without talking to him, or and him not responding to his messages about the location, I don't know how that really played out. But I just know that he's saying that Daniel and they made it to the well site at 9 o'clock. And then he said Daniel's going at 9:15. And according to Daniel's phone record, he made a phone call to Ken at 9:28. But also Ken came on that show that you got disappeared, and he changed that story and saying now all of a sudden it's 9:30, right? It still don't make sense, because it was 9:30. Why Daniel be calling at 9:28 and they make it to the well site at 9:30? So I really don't that just don't make sense to me at all. So that's some of the things that he didn't mention as well, but he probably mentioned now that I'm talking about on Q&A. But That's some of the things that's just changing the story itself. The initial cop, I heard it a couple of times. He even said it to me 9 o'clock to 9:15. Personally, he told me that. He told me, like I told you guys when I met him in person, he told me verbatim to what Officer Cruz said. The first officer that questioned him said to me. It was just the same way the second officer as well. That second officer did write 9:30 in his report, but he told me also on the phone at 9 o'clock, 9:15. So I always heard 9 o'clock, 9:15. The first time I heard 9:30, like I said, is finally looking at that report, and I seen one officer end up putting that in, and then also Ken saying it himself now. But you know what? Either way that goes, it just don't make sense. Those things don't make sense to me. All right. All right. And also, you guys, if you have any questions, again, I'm definitely here to answer those questions. Definitely would like to get all the questions I can this evening, this morning, and I'll have some more questions this evening. I'm really pushing this Q&A a little faster. Like I told you guys, I have a lot on my mind today. Today is very hard for me today, dealing with this whole fact that Dane's been missing over a year. And I'm having difficulty with really trying to get law enforcement to see things my way, to try to get things done. I have a time frame that I was looking for to get things done, and those time frames are not being met. You know, people drag their feet with a lot of things, not realizing that, you know, if it's their loved one, nobody would drag their feet. You won't want anybody dragging their feet. When they drag their feet, that's your child or your person's life is at stake. I don't know the state of Daniel right now. I don't know what's going on. And I'm praying that he's alive. And, it could be that those little moments that's really precious, every second, every moment of this whole situation. It's been over a year, and still every precious moment is there to make sure that he's all right. If, just get to him, to find out what happened and try to rescue him, whatever the case may be. Definitely want to be able to get those answers and stuff like that. But when a person drag their feet or can make all these excuses, nobody really showing that kind of concern. They're showing concern. Hey, I want to help you, and I really appreciate that. But then you kind of drag your feet along with that help. You know what I'm saying? It's still not an urgency there. Let's get together. Let's get some things squared away so we can find these answers. I can't wait for somebody to say, hey, I'm going to do this, and they're waiting on something else, and it just takes a month or two and another month or another year or something. No, my son is missing. He's missing now. He's missing today. He's been missing yesterday. He's been missing last year. He's missing. And I need some of the same actions I've seen law enforcement can do when they want to, that they do for certain cases and certain people out in public. You guys, I want to see that stuff. I have yet to see that, no matter despite of what I've done, despite I've been on Dr. Oz, despite I've been on the CNNs, despite I've been on, you guys, you name it, despite I'm out here begging you guys, despite of doing all these searches, and I still don't get that kind of urgency it takes. You know what I'm saying? Why do I have to beg law enforcement to do anything for me? I'm just trying to figure that part out. Still trying to figure that part out, and that's some of the things that's in my mind. Question here from PM Channel. How did you meet private investigator Jeff McGrath? Did he reach out to you? Are you still working with him? I'm not still working with him. He quit on me, but no, he's not working with me anymore. As in where I met him, I did meet him through an attorney. I was at the time seeking some attorney assistance. He recommended Jeff McGrath, and Jeff McGrath came to me. So yes, I was looking for investigator at the time as well. So that's the reason why he was referred to me. So that's how I met him, through seeking out an attorney at the time. All right. Also, Aurora, thanks so much for your question. You have a geologist specialist in mapping in chat who wants to help. Phil, asking about exact locations of where the car was found and last known sighting of Daniel. You can go to Please Help Find Daniel on the SETDA map. You guys can find the SETDA map on that website, and that will tell you where the vehicle is, and as well as where the vehicle was right here, the spot here, as well as you see the well site. So you can get that information there as well. You hover over the icons of the car, and you can look at the bottom left corner, and you can get the coordinates where the vehicle is located. All right, that'll make it easier. All right, so thanks so much. Roy, for that question as well, and pointing out Phil. All right, thank you so much, you guys. If you can have any questions, more questions, please, by all means, put that word question there, followed by your question, the question mark, followed by your question, or a capital letter Q. That would help me as I'm coming down the comment section. I am strolling down right now to try to get all the questions I can this morning, and I definitely will get to those. Thank you, Shauna, for that, for your question. Did you say there were 2 additional packs of water found in the vehicle? Yes, it was two cases of water that was untouched in Daniel's vehicle. And, that's why, you guys, I hear people, they do have a lot of opinions about the case. And they'll say, he may have wandered off, something like that. But, people take water with them. He's a geologist. He knows he need water. He works in the desert. Anybody who's thirsty would take water with them. It's hot. 118 degrees out there. You're gonna take water if you're gonna take off somewhere, and so some of those things don't make sense. But definitely, he had 2. The 2 that his sister purchased for him. All right, another question from Shauna. Thank you, Shauna, by the way, also for being a moderator and also being a part of the team. How many days were between Daniel picking up his canopy and his disappearance? Man, that's I'm not sure. I'm sure. I think it was at least a week. I want to say a week. I think they've known each other for at least a week or so. I think at the time. But anyway, it's been at least that time. I had to go back and look at that, Shauna. I really don't know the exact days between that. I had to look at it and count it. But it was some time. It wasn't like the next day or anything that he went missing. So, but he did need that canopy for his job when he left it over to the young lady's house for whatever reason. But yeah, he definitely went to retrieve it because he needed it for his job. You can imagine not having a shelter and you standing by the well site. You need that canopy to keep the sun off you and things like that. So he definitely need that. Oh, thank you, Alicia. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing your daughter's story as well. Thanks so much for being here and supporting. Thank you. And I definitely will have your daughter's story featured again this evening on this evening Q&A. And thank you for, like I said, your support. And we are praying still for your daughter and you to be able to bring your daughter back home, you guys. Again, I'm going to put her information here on the bottom of the screen as well, you guys. Again, excuse my voice. I'm starting to lose it a little bit here, you guys. But definitely going to put your information on the bottom of the screen here for your daughter. And the information is there. If you know the whereabouts of Alicia Navarro, please call 911 or the Glendale Police Department at 623-930-3000 or the Anti-Predator Project, you guys, 305-796-4859. And thank you again for being here as well. I really appreciate it for you coming out and supporting this Q&A and also coming out to a day of remembrance to share your daughter's story. And I really appreciate that. Thanks so much as well. All right, I'll leave that stroll on the bottom for a while. Like I said, thank you again. You guys have any more questions? I'm coming down the comment section to gather those questions. Those that I missed, please bring your questions back and say this evening on this evening Q&A prime time. We'll be back to answer those. Hopefully, I have my voice back better. I have my voice back. You guys, when I go through some things, sometimes my voice starts running away from me in a sense, So thank you guys for just listening in and staying here with me and supporting as well. If you have here for the first time, please don't forget to hit a like, share, subscribe button before you leave. That would definitely help the algorithms, definitely help this channel grow. I'm still trying to get this channel to grow. So definitely, if you guys can. If you have any questions still have time to answer those questions. Latoria, I'll be looking for your question as well. You said you forgot to put the word question first, but you ran out of characters too. So I wasn't looking for whatever your question is. I'll try to find it. Definitely would like to answer your question. All right, Jay, Silverhead Hills. The question is very prominent dark greenish wash ravine almost 2 miles directly west of the Jeep area. Has that been long NS feature been worked much? I'm not sure. I'm trying to pull your question out of that, but you said a very cute question. The very prominent dark greenish wash ravine. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I would like to have more information to your question so I can answer it properly. I'm really not really understanding the wording of the question, so you can rephrase that. That really helped me as in your questioning, Jay. So thanks so much this morning for your question. Also, Pamela, thank you for your question. Have y'all shown a picture of Daniel to the truckers or inside the store at the Tonopah, Arizona, not far from where you're searching for Daniel? I think when you're talking about the truck stop that is west of Sun Valley Parkways, I think it's like a Exeter 2 West going towards LA that you're speaking of. No, I have some people, volunteers, say they have been up that way, but as in myself personally, no, I have not passed out any flyers to truckers or anything like that in that truck stop. So no, I haven't personally, but I know some volunteers have been there, and it was told to me. So those flyers should have gotten to some people, but I can't say every trucker that's out there. You know, truckers do come in and out and travel. So definitely, I hope a flyer is there at the truck stop. That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure. Also, I have a question here from Melvin. Thank you so much for your question. Who can we call or send letters to? I would love to send emails and ask for your case to get more support. Anyone. Well, I say, one thing I'm asking is the Buckeye Police Department to release my son's case to a different department. My son is a resident of Tempe, Arizona. He's not a resident of Buckeye. So some people may get that mixed up. Daniel's not a resident of Buckeye. He's a resident of Tempe. So you guys can definitely, tell them, hey, look, get another department like Tempe. Or, he went missing in Maricopa County. My son is in the county, Buckeye, Phoenix, Tempe, all those areas is Maricopa County. No, you guys can send those and say, hey, send those emails and letters to them, and hey, look, let's work together and find some answers or something, that type deal. Just do things like that. Like I said, what I would say to Buckeye is to tell them, hey, look, they done enough damage. They destroyed my son's case. If it was come to a criminal case, it'd be difficult for any criminal attorney to be able to, a prosecutor, to be able to work my son's case, because all the damage that was done from chain of custody to you name it, that the Buckeye Police Department have done. So, but definitely want from prevent more damage to my son's case. Yeah, they need to release that. They have done enough. Only thing they can do for me now is try to cover their own ass, excuse my expression. And by doing so, they're throwing my son's case under the bus even farther. So instead of getting the answers, they'll do everything they can to cover all the mistakes they have made from day one. So that's the only thing they can do. And so I don't need that. I need to find my son. I don't have to play police games, and stuff. I need to find my son. And that's the bottom line. So definitely you guys can put that out to these agencies. Look, you need to take a look at this case. You need to take a look at it and see what's really going wrong. Look at the whole totality. You got the public support. There's a petition there of thousands of people interest. The story went nationally, and the Justice Department, for instance, you need to come down and look at this. You need to look at what's really going on. Look at these departments and see what's really going on in this case. And that's what I'll be pushing for as well. So you guys can do that. There's a lot of things that can be done on a law enforcement standpoint. I'm saying to get them to be more active and do what they have to do, to make sure that my son is being found. And I'm going to keep pushing. I'll do everything I can. I mean, you guys don't know, what a father in a position like this would do. So definitely want to make sure I do everything I can to make them do what they need to do, what they're supposed to do the job. That's all I ask them to do. That's the least. Nobody's doing me no favors, so I want to put that out too. You're not doing me no favors. When you're a law enforcement officer, you're not doing anybody a favor, but you're doing your job. and your job is to serve the public and find ways to do so. And that's no favor. This is your job. So just wanted to say that as well. I have a question also for Pamela. From Pamela Garrison. Thanks so much for your question. Have y'all shown Daniel's picture to the truck stop? Okay, the same question. I know how to get that twice, but thanks so much, Pamela, for your question. I do have one from DJ Moore. The police report talks about a second well 22.9 miles away on Verado Road. I am not sure what that is all about on page 33. It may be on Verado Way Road. That's the one, sure, is the first well site that Daniel supposedly went to that morning. He had 2 well sites that he was assigned to. So I'm assuming what you're reading there is definitely something that speaks about the first well site. As you guys know, and I can be straight up honest with you guys, once the Buckeye Police Department gave me the police report. I have one that was after that I looked at, but they gave me 2 personally hand-given me reports. And the first one was a partial report that wasn't complete yet. Chief Hall at the time told me that his detectives was completing the report. They're finalizing the report, but for right now, they gave me a partial report, and these reports are unredacted. So they gave me what they had. And the second report they gave me, he said this is the full report, the final report, and that was it. And it's at the same time when they told the public on their social media they had no leads to follow, and it was done with the case. And they also told my investigator in his face when he came up to grab those black box data that they gave it to him because they're not investigating. There's no more leads to follow. There's nothing else to look at. So that's how I was able to get the vehicle. I was able to get all the stuff because the Buckeye Police Department said it was done with my son. So now from that point, because of public interest, because you guys have been doing exactly what I ask of you, writing these letters, making these phone calls all the time, trying to get the Buckeye Police Department to do their job, whatever the case may be. And when CNN started coming on their back and all some of these big networks, then all of a sudden they have an investigation and they're doing photo ops to you guys, and they writing these reports, like I said, covering their ass, excuse my expression. And so they're doing everything they can to write all the stuff into a report and dumping all the stuff in the report to make themselves look good. Oh, I did all of this, I did this, and I did this, and blah, 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 I'm doing this. And, they may have been doing some things now, but it took them to get some public pressure to do something what they claiming they're doing now, right? And so that's after they don't damage my son's case, after they don't damage it. So that's the thing I'm saying, you guys. There's nothing that this department can do for my son after the fact. After you gave me these things and put it for safekeeping, and your case is over, and you don't have an investigation, and then now you're doing something like this just only for your own benefit, since whatever the case may be, and my son is still missing. So I don't play police games where they can say, hey, I did this, but it's not a real in-depth thing they are doing to really find. It's not designed to find Daniel, it's designed to make them look good. Like the photo op, for instance. Why would you be taking 3 months after you found the vehicle, you're taking a photo op at a well that's only a few hundred feet from where this vehicle was found, that you claim you did this big desert search, you did this hard search with cadaver dogs and stuff, and you're taking pictures at this little well, where they call it a well site, but actually it's a mine. You're taking a picture at this mine, and like you're looking down in it and taking these pictures and put on social media, say, hey, look at here, we're looking for Daniel. No, it's for our benefit, so they can put on a report. On this day, we went to search for Daniel. They're not searching for Daniel. They've been in that area already, but that's a photo op, but it make them look good on paper. And that's the kind of stuff I don't need. That I need actual work. I need to find my son. That's just the bottom line. It goes no farther than that. I don't need those kind of games. In other words, I don't play police games. All right. Also, T and Wildflower, thanks so much for your question. Why didn't Daniel's company given him the address of the second well site? Did they just want him to rely on information from Ken? For what I was understanding, they should have given him a map, some kind of details of where he'd be going each day. So I don't know how that fell apart. I just know that I'm just going by what I see on the text messages, as well as his phone records. the only text message Daniel have, and his text message, hey, where's the location? He's looking for this place, right? And and then he made that phone call. So I don't know the reason why Daniel had to do that, but I do know that for according to some other information I got from that phone, those text messages from his job, provided him, like you said, with Ken's number to find out this location. So that's one thing I know as well. But as in them giving them information, they gave me information when I asked for when I got here. I had to go to I had many meetings with that company, and I asked for the location of that first well, and the way they did it, they just gave me a map, and then I had to figure it out from that point. So they gave me a map. Hey, this is where it's at. Had a little ping location. They didn't have the coordinates, but they had it on the map, almost like a Google map. I had to start off, and I had to ride that area and find it myself. So, all right, okay, Seema, thanks so much for your question. And they say perhaps you must write a book named "Searching for My Son Daniel." Well, I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing is, my whole focus right now is to find Daniel, and I don't know what's going to come out of from this point, but I just really think so. My whole focus is to find Daniel. That's all I think about. You guys, it's been over a year that I've been trying to fight for Daniel, and I'm still going to continue to do so. One of the things, like I said again, is hurtful was to me is that even to this date, I'm not finding that same kind of urgency and those kind of police departments coordinating together to make something happen. I have seen it, and I hate to bring this back up again, you guys. And the reason why I don't bring it up, because my problem is with the Tito case is sometimes when it first happened, I first been made aware of it. It appeared to me that it's trying to pin up the families against each other, and I'm not a person that does that. I would never pin up a family member that's family, especially the Petito family who's actually suffering from their daughter being missing. Right? Those families that they went through the same pain I'm going through with Daniel. My family's going through with Daniel, and nobody's going to say, hey. Of course, we're asking for law enforcement to help. That's what we're supposed to do. That's their job. But the way they respond is the problem. Where they respond to whoever, depending on who the persons are and things like that, that's how they respond. But it has nothing to do with the family itself. The family, the whole thing we can do is say, hey, our loved one is missing. I need help. The same thing me and my family have done. And the police department just didn't respond to the way they respond to that case, is what I'm saying. So one of the things is my whole focus right now is to try over a year now. It is over a year and it's going on another month that I'm still asking law enforcement to work harder to help me find my son. I know people say, oh, I'm helping you, and they say, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It ain't the same kind of urgency though that's going on. I hear them. I hear them say, hey, I'm gonna help you. And I told you guys I have some good news I would love to share with you guys about law enforcement. I want to be able to come on Q&A and say law enforcement is helping me in this aspect. But I was told to keep my mouth closed about it, and that's hard too as well. And I'm still trying to understand the reason why I have to. But the whole point is, I'm saying I'm trying to put some kind of positive spin there for law enforcement. But at the same time, even with that positive thing that was happening, it's still a drag on the foot. It's still been a dragging of the foot for things to come together, for things to actually work. While they dragging their feet, my son is still missing. So from a father standpoint, I give a damn about their feelings. I give a damn about what they're thinking. They need to do their job and go help me find my son. That's just the bottom line. I don't have any other concessions other than that. And I'm not soft on people and worrying about their feelings and what they. I mean, no, my son is missing. If their child, they'll be doing the same thing I'm doing right now. They'll be doing the same thing. Same as that thing. Matter of fact, they will have better leverage because they're law officers. And if one of their children come up missing, you best believe you'll see the differences how this case is being handled. It could be in the same department. It could be Buckeye. One of them officers' children come up missing, and you'll see how all of a sudden all these departments can come together and make something happen and find this person, right? But people do what they want to do. People will do what they want to do. They make all the excuses they can, what they want to do, and drag their feet, depending on what they feel is urgent. And that is the bottom line. Nobody can come together whenever it's something situation like this, but when they have a choice thing, they can come together whenever they feel like it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way it is, and it is the bottom line. So I don't never blame the Petito family. You got to look at society the way things are, and you guys have I even got accused of calling Buckeye racist. I had never seen you guys have seen me on Q&As. You see me on interviews. You have me barely even hear me bring up race, period. But I know there's some racist elements there as well. But you guys don't hear me say it. You don't hear me talk about those things. But I got accused of those things from law enforcement that I have never ever said. You guys have never heard me say anything like that on Q&A. So it's a lot that I have to deal with as a father. Have to deal with those kind of politics type things, those hurt feeling type things, or instead of more so of them busting ass to go find my son, right? And I'm still begging over a year. So, I'm trying to ask you guys, that's why I ask you guys to support so much, because, if I don't do it, nobody will do it. I'll just be one of those family that's out there in the street that don't have answers 5-10 years and don't think they can tell you, man, law enforcement didn't do anything. I'm just a fighter, though. I'm a fighter. I'm not taking away from any other body's family, but I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter. I have always been fighting all my life to make sure I get things done. I go after it. I'm a military veteran. We have taught them also not to give up, never quit on things. So I'm not giving up on my son. I love my son. He depended on me, and no one else. He depended on me to make things happen. So I'm going to do everything I can. I'm constantly asking you guys to continue your support. I need it. I'm tired. You probably can tell I'm tired. I'm talking all over the place. Very tired, mentally, physically, and everything else. But I'm not wanting to give up on my son. So you guys can please constantly support as much as you can, because I have to keep on fighting. I had to keep on fighting. I had to fight those powers that be, if you want to call it that way. I had to fight it. I had to keep fighting. So anyway, thank you for your question. Also, Lois, thank you so much for your question from North Carolina. I watched disappearance in the desert over the weekend. Do you believe Daniel was driving his Jeep before it was wrecked? I hope so. I mean, he had to leave home, in his vehicle. And before it was wrecked, yeah, I'm sure he was driving this vehicle. I don't know what happened to cause it get to a point where the first initial accident happened. I don't know. We still need answers for that. Some things that I can't get, but law enforcement can. I think I've got a lot of information, you guys, that I wish I could share with you guys that I did outside of law enforcement. Without law enforcement help, I have a lot of work that have been done. Some with John QQ, he was doing some things as well. Some people that I know has been looking into some things, but definitely been doing my own investigation, and I feel like I got more information than Buckeye. I hear law enforcement say, what Buckeye, they don't have anything. They gave me everything, first of all. The same things that they claim they're doing, I already done. Like when they did that photo op, we already searched that mine, look into that mine, but they're doing a photo op at the same mine. So I hope he was driving that vehicle. Go to your question. I hope he was driving that vehicle that morning. I really don't know. I'm just assuming, just by his text message, he probably was, most likely. And then something happened where, in my opinion, in chain of events that caused that first initial crash, wherever it was located. And then from that point, I really strongly believe the vehicle that so happened to be on the side of the road, that Buckeye can look at a blurry picture and like they see my son's vehicle before, and look at the shading of a blurred picture and say, oh, because of the wheels got the rim, don't let the rim of his vehicle. How you didn't even see my son's vehicle. You never seen the vehicle before. But you can see the shape, the outline of that vehicle through that blurry picture to say it looks exactly. He could say the vehicle don't look like his vehicle. It's shaped like it, the same color, but he's telling somebody some wheel on the rim that looks kind of from a blurred picture. You can't tell. I look at it, I see something different from what he see. But I can tell you that the weird part of that is, to the date, the Buckeye Police Department won't tell me who towed that vehicle away from that spot. The other part is, it wouldn't just show up 2 days later in that desert. sitting on the side of on the and the same damage the guy was describing to me that his wife took the picture is the same damage like somebody said, like somebody smashed in the windshield. That kind of information is the same thing was on this vehicle sitting in this ravine. So nobody can tell me that vehicle was sitting off of that Verado Way, same area somebody just said where that well site was located, that area over there, and then it end up in this desert over here. Only because, and I'll be honest with you guys, I think when I started getting some local coverage, as well as I've been pushing hard for some media attention, and I was constantly saying, hey, my son, I'm out here in the desert looking for my son, and I had those searches going on. I know those who've been responsible most likely say, hey, this is the proper place to put a fine. And the story was sold to me. That you guys, I can go back over this thing. You probably know I'm alluding to those who've been paying attention to what I was saying. But it was a story that was sold to me. It was on two people. I'm not gonna mention them again. That came out to that search out there to say, hey, look, this way the vehicle's found, this, that, blah, blah, and they never showed up again, ever, to this day. So it's a story that's been sold to me. So things like that had to be looked into. Things like that had to be looked into regardless of the narrative that I believe in. I only believe in the narratives that have been given to me. Only available evidence that I have at this point, the narratives there. This guy said the vehicle was there 2 to 3 days prior, based on the searches using common sense that was searched over that area multiple times. The low brush area that's impossible for that vehicle not to be seen from a high altitude looking down. The vehicle wasn't there. So it's a lot of things you add into 11 additional miles to, you put all that together. And the only conclusion I come up with, just like my investigator said, stage event and foul play. And the police department is fighting hard for not to be true. They fighting hard to make it as this Daniel is. I even hear now after my investigator quit, now he changing from his story to throw it back through. Almost seemed like he threw away all the stuff he found. Try to throw in some PCP element or whatever without any kind of evidence. There's no marijuana found in my son's vehicle, no kind of drug paraphernalia, none of that stuff. But yet this is bringing up some kind of wild theory that don't even make sense. So all kind of stuff like theories are theories and facts are facts. So you guys, it's a lot that I have to deal with on that front as well. All right. So guys, Seema, thanks so much for your question. I have never seen a father like you searching for his son. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Nearly every day, you are on YouTube explaining the problem and searching, asking for help. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying that. It's a lot of fathers. I have Mr. Graham. You guys, I had this information also on the bottom of the screen. Put it here again. Angelo, his name is Mr. Graham, but his son Angelo went missing as well. Young man. He's a veteran. He's out there probably right now on the ship, but he's been fighting to find his son. And so it's a lot of fathers out there, I'm sure, and I know there are there that fight for their children. We out there. I think sometimes men, we don't get the recognition or really be seen. The way I want to say that, we don't be seen. Our love is not seen as much. We hear about mothers, and that's almost automatic. We know how mothers are about our children. It's a natural thing as well. But I want to say that because it's natural as well for a father to protect his family. It's natural for us to be there for our children too. It just that sometimes a lot of times people don't pay attention to fathers, and I think that's probably some of it. But yeah, there's other fathers out there as well, Mr. Graham as well, and look for his son Angelo. His information on the bottom there. He's young son. I'll have all the stuff I will have this evening. You guys, the ages and the details, but I'll have that stuff on this evening Q&A because I will be featuring them again this evening on this evening's Q&A. But yeah, he's a father as well, searching for his son. And so, definitely there's fathers out there. There's a lot of fathers out there that would do everything I'm doing here to search for our child, and protect our family. All right, I do have a question here. Is it possible Daniel got some knowledge that he was not supposed to? And that's some of the things that questions has always been lingering about. That area. They put millions of dollars into that area to build a smart city. I don't know when it's going to be done or if it's ever going to be done, but they've been putting millions of dollars into that. that project to get built. And the only thing that can stop that project is exactly what Daniel's job is to determine that those wells don't produce 100 years of water, and that something is contaminated, the water is contaminated to a point that can't be be drinkable. So those things, some people say there could be some reasons, a motive to Daniel, because Daniel is a person, I can vouch for that. If he sees something wrong, he will say something. And that's him as being a good person, being well. He's been taught well by me, myself and his mother to be able to, be that way, make sure he's looking out for others, not just himself. So, yeah, so that could have possibly got him in trouble as well. So we just don't know. I don't have no evidence of that. So I would say those are like hypothetical or something, or some theory. Again, it's a theory, but, it's not nothing factual that I see yet about that. Have a question here from PM Channel. What is the progress of having the case transferred? If Buckeye LE does not want to work the case, why not release it? Now, I'm gonna break that down, your question a little bit. What was the purpose of having the case transferred? What is the progress of having a case transferred? I have no progress at all. A lot of times, like I said again, I don't give a damn about police feelings and their egos and everything else. And that's what I think it is. Instead of doing anything possible, if a family lose trust in you, you did some damage and you have, or the family lose trust, what's the harm and the hurt if you really care about that person's family member, and you care about finding answers and finding that person, what's the harm of going and saying, make that family feel better by saying, you know what, yes, I can release this case over to another department and let them who's willing to handle this case, and let them go ahead and find this person. Yeah, we messed up, we screwed up some things. No, it's the ego part come in, like I told you guys. And I got to prove to the public, or I got to prove that I'm a good law enforcement agent, whatever case may be. We're gonna do this, we're doing this, and all this stuff. No. And that's what I'm saying. It's more geared towards them. It wouldn't be geared to actually finding Daniel. It's more geared to trying to make themselves look good. And so that would bring even more harm to my son's case instead of helping. So the other part, you said, if Buckeye does not want to work the case, why not release it? Like I said, to me, it was the ego part. They said it was over. They said they had more lease follow to my investigator, they're not investigating thing. And that shows what I'm talking about. They only start doing what they're doing and not releasing it is because now it's about the ego thing. That's the reason why. Because then now all of a sudden they say, oh, I'm doing this, doing that, so they can write a whole big list of things in a police report for you guys to read for your enjoyment. Seems like a standstill. None action is cruel. No one can help expedite. And that's a thing. It's all about their egos and their ego trip. And a lot of times there's other agencies come in there and they'll look at it and say, they'll just take their word. Just take their word. I say no, take a deep dive into see if some of those things that they say in their report is true. And I guarantee you guys, there's a lot of it's not. A lot of it's not true. It's not truth, in my opinion, based on things I do know. And I do see your question here, Latoya, and I would get that as well. So thanks so much for your question. Everyone handles stress things differently, but I don't know, don't want to clean anything when sad or in a certain mental state. How would you say Daniel act when sad and stressed? Does he start organizing or no? One thing I would say, I don't know as an adult, it's a couple things that Daniel may have changed the way he do things. But, as a child, of course, parents, we always getting on him. I get on him and his brother about cleaning their room. They would tear up their room. And like you said, probably wouldn't clean up. But it don't mean to say that you're just being lazy. And so you have to make sure they're doing that. So for me, when I first saw that room, I was embarrassed until the investigator kind of point out some things to me. I was more embarrassed. Oh my God, it took me back to when he was a child and wanting to see his room clean, his room, right? And one thing about a room as well, if you're gonna have anything dirty in your house, your room would be the best place in a sense. The reason why I say that, because you don't let people into your bedroom. So one of the things is I look at it that way with Daniel asking the question about his mental state. One thing I can say, and I want to be clear about this. I really do believe that Daniel had some areas in his mind where he was really disappointed with certain things. He's working Instacart. And one thing I explained this as well to my team as well. Daniel always looked up to me. Him and his brother, he wanted to be prove in the sense, hey, I'm a man. He know my story. My story, I was taking care of myself since I was 16 years old. He's a man. He's going out there doing this thing on his own. That's why he didn't want to come back home when we tried to ask him to come back home. He landed his job here. He's proven this himself. He building his own computer, paying his own bills, got himself a vehicle. Started off real well, but he probably got in some trouble. He probably got some trouble because the real reason I say that, because I understand that when I started looking at it, he never told me he was driving Instacart. He told his mother and his siblings. He didn't tell me because he didn't personally tell me at the time until he told me the story about the young lady. He didn't tell me because he was probably ashamed of that. He's ashamed of that. Hey, I'm gonna tell my dad I'm doing Instacart. I'm supposed to be handling my business. So to him, yeah, that could be a downside to life. I get depressed. I'm depressed right now about my son being missing. I've been like this for over a year. But like I told my team, I want nobody ever say, if I came up missing, God forbid, I came up missing because I was depressed about my son. It's okay to be down and depressed about something in life. It has nothing to do with your disappearance. So, sometimes people like to have things as excuses and things like that, but that don't merit the facts and things that's on the ground. So the way I look at his apartment, like I told you guys, when I saw that episode, it really pissed me off just to see that depiction of him and the character of person that Daniel. He's not a nasty person. His place was probably in disarray in this room, but he's not a nasty person. If he's depressed and down, he wasn't that depressed and down where he was having food trays, and you should have saw that. It was disgusting the way I saw that pictures that they decided to use. I don't know where they even get it from, but they decided to use to depict Daniel, his state of mind or something. And so, like you said, everybody is different the way they do things. Just don't feel like it. Like sometimes they do say, the truth is your place, the way you keep your place, also definitely shows your state of mind. If you're in a good mood, bad mood, or something like that. So that is true, Latoya. It's a lot of people out there does it. I do it sometimes. Hey, like you said, I feel like cleaning up, whatever, because I just don't feel like I ain't in no mood. And then when you get back, you're up and beat up again, you get up and you start cleaning your place and you go through the whole process or whatever. So yes, that's possible as well. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure I cleared that up for those who saw the episode and get confused about that, because they hear what the mother's saying and hear what the brother's saying. And I can tell you, the mother haven't been here but one time. And I was doing, like I said, I flew her in here for a couple of days to do a family press conference, and I had to do some interviews with some of the networks that want to do interviews with us. So, and then once we did that, they grabbed everything they wanted from Dane's apartment and they took off to South Carolina. I have never seen them here again. So the thing is, I'm saying, you guys, that depiction was really horrible. I didn't know they was going to do that episode that way. And I'm not taking away from the network. What I'm saying is, I just really was offended by that. And I want to make sure you guys had a clear picture. That's why I showed you the apartment. Some things I didn't even want to show you guys, but show you the apartment and show you exactly the way Daniel left it. That nothing was moved in that apartment. Nothing about it cleaned in that apartment. It was exactly the way he left it. And it was hard for me to even see that, because it brought back the memory when I first saw his apartment. I had to go in his apartment without his permission. And that was my first time seeing his apartment since he'd been living here. And to go in his place without his permission, he's a grown man. And, different things, especially when I had to start packing things up, not knowing what to throw away, what to keep, saying that's hard, going through a person's things. And, it's almost like I think a family would have to go through if a loved one passed away and had to go through their stuff, without their permission. It's very hard. My son that had passed away, God forbid, I hope not, but it's still the same, going through those things and just have to look at his stuff the way he left it, that type deal. All right, so question here from Melvin. I would absolutely love to help you send those emails to those agencies for you. I can write a sample letter, send it to you to post to your community and others to use. Yes, definitely can do that, as well as you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com and send that information to me, Melvin, and definitely would like to work with that as well. So anybody who's willing to help and stuff like that, that's definitely one of those type deals. I really appreciate it. So you guys can help me put some pressure or whatever I need to do. I will be calling for what's that thing called? Call to actions. I will be start putting some call to actions there. It's gonna be based on some things. Like I said, I'm working in the background trying to work with law enforcement. So I will be doing some call to actions, you guys, based on a lot of that kind of stuff. But you guys kind of listen in on that. I have nothing else to lose. You know what I'm saying? I can be honest with you guys. I have nothing else to lose. Here it has been over a year. My son's case been damaged. And I'm trying to do everything I can to work with law enforcement, but I need law enforcement to do a little more than just give me lip service. And I get it. They say, oh, I'm doing everything I can. I'm doing, I don't want to hear I'm doing everything I can. I'm trying. No, I need to be done. And something will have to be done. Somebody have to move. Things are able to be done. I've seen it done. I'm tired of seeing these cases. I think it was one, and I don't want to point out people's family members because they're going through hell, the family. But I'm just saying how society would take certain cases and do what they want. The same thing I hear in these law enforcement tell me what they trying to do, and they got to do this to get to this point. And I see it automatically happen for these other families. I see the FBI coming into these cases. I see them using search dogs and searching underwater. And I'm hearing these stories from people coming in my ears telling me about these different cases. Some that happened in the same kind of circumstances as Daniel's disappearance. And no law enforcement ain't spending that kind of money on my son's case. But yet people ask me about GoFundMe, and I'm asking people to donate and just to try to get things done and keep myself here on the ground. Imagine I'm not here in Arizona fighting for my son. Imagine what law enforcement did. This case would not have been nowhere near to where it's at now. Nobody would hear about Daniel's case. Nobody would care about Daniel's case. Law enforcement dang sure wouldn't care. They say they would, but they wouldn't care. They would be in the same locker room or whatever they do with all the other missing person cases that's sitting out there somewhere where they ain't even working on at all. They threw it in their back closet, got cobwebs on it, and they're just sitting there. So I'm just not going to allow that. I'm just a father who's not going to allow that. And I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to be aggravating like a bug in their ear. And I'm going to keep being there until they do something. And that's just the bottom line, you guys. And I need your support to continue to do that. So I'm going to come with different ways. I may have to take a mental break. You guys can probably tell I may take a mental break for my health. But you know what? I'm going to come back, and I definitely need you guys to be supporting me on this, like really supporting me. And I'm saying just get your friends, your families, to who you name it. And we have to do it. I got to this point with you guys. I got to this point with everybody who's been supporting me, from me and my family. And I want to say me and my family because I do feel alone a lot of times from day one, right? And so I want you guys have been doing that, and I still need your support. I just need you guys to please don't ever give up on Daniel. I'm not doing it. You see me give up, then you give up, right? But I'm asking you, I'm not going to give up. So I'm asking you guys to please stick in there with me. I know you hear some of the same things over and over again. You think it ain't going nowhere. Some of you may. But please, I'm telling you guys, if you guys can stick in there with me and continue this fight for my son, I know that something would come out of it. I know it's going to come out. And when it comes out, we all can be grateful for it at the end. So definitely I can bring my son back home. We get those answers, and we'll finally get law enforcement to do the things they're supposed to be doing in this country. I'm doing more than just search for my son. I have a foundation. I'm doing everything I can to try to help other families, and I have a petition there that I'm really trying to advocate for changing some of these policies in these departments. So it's a lot of work to be done. It's not just searching for my son. I need support in all these areas of everything I'm trying to do. So definitely need your support. Please, you guys, I'm asking you guys to keep continuing doing your support and bring more people on board with the support. Has Daniel computer been locked at any for any leads or looked into? Okay, so sorry. Has Daniel computer been looked at for any leads by chance if he had one? Maybe leads on the web. places he visited, and last people he chatted with before he came up missing. I wish I can give you information on that, but I can tell you that things I'm doing in the background, of course, are really doing some. I was able to get some things done with Daniel's computers, all his electronics. So right now, as you're speaking, there's some information being drafted and pulling away from to get those kind of information from all his electronics. So right now, that's one good news I want to share with you guys. I'm still trying to get this vehicle and this forensics done on the vehicle as well as the clothing and things like that. So I'm just going to say that right now. Yes, to answer that question, yes, there are some things being taken care of when it comes to his computers and things like that, his electronics. So once hopefully I get those information and get something back from that whenever that time is. So thank you for that question, Pamela. All right, Jay Silverheads. I think I'm over the 2-hour mark here. Jay Silverheads, question. Is there a local search coordinator? Well, I had a search coordinator, but, I'm my own search coordinator. I think that sometimes, I'm not going to really get into that, but I can tell you that I'm my own search coordinator. I do have a search that's coming up next month, but it's not a public search. I'm pleased, like I put on the preview there, really happy with the fact that I have experts that will be joining me in a search next month. This search is just total forensic scientists to other type scientists that will be doing some actual science work. So I'm not giving a date because we don't need anybody from the public to be there. We definitely will be doing some searching for Daniel. So I have different ways of searching for Daniel out in the desert. But no, I'm coordinating my own search from this point to be able to ask questions if critical areas have been searched, or to tell, they can ask me. I know everything. This is my searches, some areas that have been searched. If people have questions about the search in critical areas that I can release to them, they can come directly to me. I have those answers. This is my searches, and definitely know exactly where we've been and things like that. So I have some things lost, and I was a little disappointed from the last few searches. There's some information that I have lost. What hurt me the most is a couple things. One of the things is I have volunteers out there, 200 deep, more sometimes. It depends on at times, some less, 20, some, whatever the number of volunteers. These people out here taking their time, like I said, searching, using their own gas, their own time, you name it, putting themselves out there and working hard to find Daniel. Never met Daniel, showing love to me and my family, and out there in that desert. And then the information, the way things were supposed to roll is anytime we find anything, we mark, first of all, we mark off where we search. But anytime we find anything, those things should be going up to the website. I had those set up from day one. I started my searches. That's what it always been. But I got introduced to a different system. And, being that I was busy doing all the interviews to, you name it, outside of the desert, it's a lot of things I do. I had to have a coordinator at the time, of course, to help me out with that. So I put a lot of pressure on, not a lot of pressure, put a lot of work on that coordinator. Say, hey, look, can you handle certain things? He brought that thing to me and said some little different system. Make a long story short, I lost a lot of data because of that. I lost a lot of remains that was found out there to see if there was really animal or human. And what I'm saying is a lot of volunteers took their time and sent these pictures up, 600 of them, sent these pictures up, and that never made it to the website. My investigator never got them. The Buckeye Police Department never got them. And to this date, we never got those things. So it was a problem for me because, we've been finding people, loved ones out there. And also I'm looking for Daniel. So it puts it in my head that because even some of the areas that was those pictures come from, for instance, there's lost areas because, you don't have the coordinates where we took those pictures from. We don't know where those remains came from or whatever, So some things it was really problematic for me So I had to make a hard decision to just coordinate my own searches. And the reason why, because I had to have things done a certain way and to make sure that information, and not taking away from people, because people work hard and they really, really did their best and things like that. But I can't take the risk of, my son not being found. So I had to make that decision. But the work that this person's done, the coordinators to everybody, the work they've done, I'm appreciative. I'm grateful for them. They didn't have to do it. I'm very grateful. So I don't take nothing away from that. I just to say the mistakes that was made. I can't. I have a missing son, so I have to make sure I have to take charge and and make sure things run the right way. And so I had to make a hard decision to just coordinate my own searches. So that's where I'm at. If you ask the question there, Jay Silverheads, about is there a local search coordinator? No, I am it. So anything else, I think that sounds familiar. That Jay Silverheads really sounds familiar, but you know what I'm talking about. So definitely wanted to say that. All right. But I'll take nothing away from anybody who's been helping. Because like I said, even the search coordinators to whoever they came out, they did what they did, didn't have to do it. And I'm really appreciative. And I really love them for that. But like I said, as a father, things like that messes with my head, because then I have to go back and try to go back over those areas again. And I lost information that can never be replaced. And it puts into my head that, my son could be out there and I didn't find him. And so, so I have to make sure next searches that I have or anything going forward, I'll be doing all of that. So you guys can be, look out for the website. Please help finddaniel.com. If I ever do a public search for Daniel or myself, my searches, it would be on that website. Because there's some people that go out there and do searches or whatever. Thank God, and I really appreciate them. But, you hear the searches that coming directly from me off the website, and they will be posted there. You start seeing the website change to reflect that. So I'll definitely be having that pretty soon for the public as well. All right, question here for Thesis. Thanks so much. Question: are you able to ask Daniel's management why he wasn't given an address to the second website? Yes, I can. I still have contact information for his job, so I definitely would love to be able to ask those kind of questions if I remember those. But yeah, that's a good question as well, to get a little more details about the second, that website that he was at the first time, and why he didn't get it. If he did, I'm not sure. I can't say he did or not have directions or anything like that, but it's obviously he didn't if he's asking Ken at the website, the second website, how to get there. All right, Ellen, thanks so much for your question. I tell you guys, I just kept talking. I'm over 2-hour mark. Why were there two different companies scheduled to look at the one website? I'm not sure if it matters, but curious. You say, why were there two different companies? Well, okay. Well, the way that works with Daniel's job is that he has he's an engineering company, and what they do is go check the viability of wells. Like I said, the rock settlement. He's a geologist, and also those see if those wells can produce at least 100 years of water. That's what they do from a scientific level. The other company that was there is the drilling company. So Ken, he's a part of a drilling company. They're the one that actually drill the wells drill those pipes down into the earth to tap into that groundwater, right? And so that's the reason why there's two different companies. It is two different companies doing two different things on that well site. So that's what that's all about. All right. And I think that's it. I'm gonna have you guys. I'm running out of, let's see here. I'm running out of questions here. And if I do have any more questions, you guys, if I miss your question, like I said, I have a Q&A this evening. I will be doing the, you guys can still put a hashtag there, prayer and fast for Daniel. You still can continue to do that for the day. Put on your page to help the algorithms with that. But you can come on back this evening where I'm doing the prayer to end the fast and prayer for Daniel. But the whole, like I said, this prayer and fasting is also for other families, for their loved ones. You can come back this evening on Q&A prime time and ask your question there. If I miss your question, like I said this morning, you can come back this evening on this evening Q&A and bring your questions, your same questions. You can remember those. and bring them back. I will ask in this one, Utah. Can you share your insights on one of Daniel's work boots found stuck under the truck? And that's one of the things that my insight is that it was, like I said, a stage event, and the vehicle was turned over I don't know, after the fact. You know what I'm saying? After it landed down in that ravine, they pushed it down the ravine. Some ways I look at, and the reason why I say that, because the rancher who was there at the scene before Buckeye got there, he suggested that he the one told me about the work boot stuck up on the front end of the vehicle. The front end of that, he said the parts of that boot stuck up under the front end of the vehicle. And he said, you know, he's not being facetious. Like, hey, look, I'm not being facetious, but unless your son is a superhero, outside he can lift the vehicle up and stick his boot up under there like that, you know, the front end of that boot. So, you know, that type deal. And also the sunroof panel was stuck up under the vehicle as well. So when he said that to me, that's my insights of that. You know, sometimes a criminal mind is a dumb mind. Sometimes it's all the time. A lot of times people do things and they're thinking that they can get away with it somehow, but they always leave some kind of clue, and you know, that would you know, tell on them. So that's what happens with criminals. That's why they get caught, because there's always something they haven't thought about, that they neglected when it's plotting something or planning something. So the way I look at it, and I really do agree with my investigator from everything we found, is like a staged event. He said, like a staged event to me, based on the evidence, it looked like a staged event to me as well. So that's why I look at it when I see that boot sitting there, and one on the side and one on that side. It is so much, this don't make sense. All right, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know, I want to do more on this channel for you guys, to get more information out for families. I want to be able to do all the little swirls and things that people do for the YouTube channel. But like I said, this is more of a channel that's geared to give you information about Daniel's case, to be able to help other families. But the number one chief thing for me as a father is my first priority is to my son, and to make sure that his case is being heard and continually be put out there. So I really ask you guys again, from a father to you guys, I need your support. I'll continue to fight for my son. I'm not giving up. I'm really pressured a lot of times. You know, you guys don't know how much pressure and stress a person have to go through. But, you know what I'm saying, I'm still pushing it. I really need your help. And, you know, if you guys, as long as you want to help me, I'm really grateful for it. So I would never forget your labor of love. Those in the desert as well, I will never forget your labor of love and everything you have done, and you're continually to do. It don't go unnoticed, and I really appreciate you guys for your support. All right, I have a question here. Did Jeff McGrath quit because Buckeye threatened or intimidated him or his family because he was doing a better job than they were? I don't know. One thing I can say, he and I just had a brief conversation about some disagreement. I'm a person like this, you know. I got blindsided by his theory that he wanted to throw out in the public. You know, it's okay. And one thing I'm offended by, and I'm gonna tell you guys, you probably can tell, I have to be biased about my son, right? Because I know my son. I'm gonna protect him every day. I'm gonna protect his integrity. I'm gonna protect his manhood. I'm gonna protect everything that my son is as a person, as a human being. So I'm just not gonna allow somebody to be able to damage his character of a person, right? At the same time, in the same breath, I do know that he's an adult male. He's a young person that's grown up. So some things about my son, of course, when we get older, we do our own things. There's a lot of things parents would not know about an adult person, right? So I keep an open mind as well. And so the thing is, I have a balance that I have, that I can be biased to because I love my son. And at the same time, I can be open-minded to consider other things as well. And if you look at, for example, I was used as an example when I first heard about this crazy, ludicrous stuff from Detective Biffin from the Buckeye Police Department that says, maybe your son joined a monastery, become a monk. Suggest that to me before he showed me my son's vehicle for the first time. I was hurt. I was really stunned by that kind of thought, and it didn't make sense to me, and I don't believe it, right? But at the same time, because I know my son ain't gonna join a monastery and become a monk, but at the same time, to be open-minded, I still went to go search the monastery that was in distance, not walking distance and things like that, but in driving distance. If you go back on I-10 to get to this monastery that's there in Arizona, the closest one you can find. And so so they had to be checked out. So I'm saying my mind is still going to be open to look into stuff and check into stuff. So to make a long story with that, yeah, one of the biggest problems, I don't have problems with theories. Theories are theories. I have theories. You guys may have theories. I hear theories all the time. Hey, Mr. Robinson, hey, Mr. Robinson, I think this happened, blah, blah. Nobody said, I hear theories all the time. People come with them. I come with my own theories as well. And Mr. McGrath had this theory that really shocked me. I got a invitation from News Nation, one of the news organizations, and they said, "Hey, we want to do a live, Mr. Robinson. Can you do this live?" Yes, I can. I want to get Daniel's story out there. And in that live, they just threw this theory that he had out. It devastated me. I'm like, he works for me. I don't work for him. He works for me. He never relay that theory that he had in his mind or whatever to me, but he put it out in the news. And it bothered me. He explained himself away on that theory, but then he also used that same theory on another news organization, another one. So make a long story short, I asked him this simple thing. It got to a point, I said, you know what, we're not on the same page. You're not, sharing some things in the public. You're not sharing with me, and I'm the one paying him. So the thing is, I asked him not to, as an investigator, just go ahead and investigate, and I'll just go from this point, just handle anything when it comes to, when it comes to investigating. He does investigate, and I do things that does with the media and things like that. In other words, I don't need my investigator to be on the news channel anymore, that type deal, because that's not helpful. Let's investigate. And because I did that, I guess the way I take it, he didn't want to work for me anymore because of that. So that's the thing. So I was able to get some of those things back. I was able to get another investigator at the time. But not throwing away from him, because like I said, you guys, Mr. McGrath did a really good job. He's an accident reconstructionist. He did a good job on his vehicle. I would have never known information about this vehicle. I would never known that it was a stage event based on his expertise. He's very good at it. But like I said, that's what he does. He's an accident reconstructionist. He can put that together. He put that scene together and know that something's not right. But outside of that, yeah, of course, the expertise this stops there, and there's other theories and things like that. That should have been left to another investigator that definitely deals with that specific thing. So that's why I said that kind of offended me, because it was put in the public as a theory from a person who's an accident reconstructionist. That's what I'm saying. So those type deals, not throw him on the bus. Like I said, he's a very good investigator. You guys have any problems with a vehicle situation or whatever the case may be, you need to look him up. You know what I'm saying? He became a friend of mine, a very good family-oriented guy. So, very good guy. So in other words, we just had that disagreement with that, and he decided to depart from that point. So, all right, that's all I had to say about that on that aspect. So anybody have any more questions? I'm sorry, I had to go ahead and skip these. Thanks for the fast and prayer. I see these fast and prayers there. Thank you, Lois, for moderating as well, being a moderator. Thanks so much for your love support. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate everybody who's supporting. I'm just going down the comment section. I wish I can get all these questions. I really, 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 you have some good questions. You please bring those questions this evening, you guys. I really have to get off now. I have to get my day going. It's a lot of work. I'm still constantly doing everything I can to fight for my son. That means doing so much stuff in the day, and so definitely have to get off here. But yeah, I wanted to answer all your questions. But like I said, I have to get off here. I will be trying to do some more things with the YouTube channel. I just don't have find time to be able to do certain things. Like sometimes I look at some of these YouTube channels, and they have things where they help the public to interact. Guys can interact a lot more. But I learn those things when I get time. As you can imagine, like I say, my days are always filled with something, and there's always about finding Daniel. I'm mentally tired right now. I needed to get off a long time ago, and just like I said, you guys continue to pray for me. This is Fast and Prayer for Daniel. If you can, keep in mind as well in your prayers. Pray for me and my family, but I need you to pray for me as well. I need some strength, and I need a lot of things right now. So you guys can please continue to keep me in your prayers. Keep my family in your prayers. Keep those other families in your prayers. Their loved ones. I will be, like I said, sharing their story this evening Q&A, and I guess I will talk to you guys later. All right, love you. Take care.